my wife is encouraging me to have an affair. Wife and I have been married for 5 years. I think we have a good relationship and a great sex life. I think she thought the same. However, following a 5-day yoga retreat with a few of her work friends, while I was labus situs at a conference late last year, her opinion seems to have soured. Apparently Fernando and Sarah have everything we have, and more, because they're swingers. When he has sex with another woman, he uses it as a learning experience to take home to his doting wife, who also bones around, and they have even more mind-blowing drug-fueled experiences with each other, while the kids are staying with grandma, or at least that's what I'm getting from it. So I told her flatly that I don't want to have sex with anyone else, and I'm happy with her, and she quickly states the feeling is mutual. Case closed, I thought, but then she comes back with more reasons the next week. It gives independence and freedom to the relationship. I'm thinking maybe this is a bit of a midlife crisis thing, and made it clear I'm just not really into banging other people because it feels too much like cheating, but she's insistent. She keeps going on and on about her work friend Fernando, talking about how mind-blowing the experience has been for him and how we really need to try it. So at this point I'm thinking, are you wanting to cheat on me? She's entirely focused on me going out and having sex with someone else, but I'm sitting here thinking, what's in it for her? It's concerning. Straw that broke the camel's back is today she came home with a picture of Fernando's Sarah and a hint that she's down to hook up with me at their place. I'm like lost for words right now. How do I make it clear I don't want to have sex with someone else and I believe in monogamous relationships? We have 2 kids. It's simple. There are 3 options that I see. 1. She's already screwing around and doesn't want to feel guilty about it anymore. 2. She wants to, but doesn't want it to be cheating. 3. She is being actively groomed by this couple. Grooming is dead on. Fernando has sold her on the idea that he is a sex god with all this practicing and fine-tuning his craft to bring home new talents to his wife bullshit. She will be disappointed when he's an average lay. Yeah, I'm guessing she's getting a lot of pressure about how she's limiting her husband and herself. She's repressed by monogamy and the patriarchy. The life will die. Her husband will eventually leave her if she doesn't free him and herself. Blah blah blah. Typical manipulation. Even if he is great in bed, she is basically already emotionally cheating by discussing this with this guy and teaming up with him, and is going to end up losing her marriage for this great lay. Fernando and Sarah will eventually get bored and find another woman to seduce too. That is an amazingly underrated great point. I think this at the very least is emotional cheating, and it clicked the moment you said it. Sounds like Fernando has a weird F fetish and issues on top of it. He's also clearly manipulated Sarah, and also why the hell is his wife talking to this guy this much? If I told my boyfriend something like this, we'd have a very long talk until he got to the bottom of it and the real reason I'd be asking him to have an affair. I don't understand some of these marriages I hear about. There's clearly zero real communication and lack of understanding each other. My BF and I plan on getting married, and I don't think either of us are that ignorant toward each other's intentions or character. There's either manipulation or Fernando is driving insecurity into her that her husband will eventually cheat, so they might as well swing with them. Or she already F Fernando. The fact that she's talking to him about S should already be a warning sign. Even without being married now, I would never discuss S with another man outside of my relationship. All that I got from it is that they're already F. She wants it to be a normal thing. And yeah, if my wife was discussing stuff like that without me and with another guy, it would not be dropped until resolved, and it would probably end our relationship. She is 1000% being groomed by this couple. Fernando wants to F her, and he and his wife are trying to convince her it's a great idea. It isn't. If they were good people who just happen to swing, they would respect her marriage and her husband's boundaries. Therapy, stat. What you said is completely on point. I think marriage counseling with a professional should be priority number 1. Obviously, they aren't on the same page, and seeking therapy could help shine some light on what's really going on. You need to find out who this Fernando is, and sternly remind him that your wife is a married woman, and what the consequences can be if he doesn't comply. Cite sexual harassment in the workplace if you need to, since you know they're working while he's talking about this with your wife. I'd also find out who his wife is and see if she really is on board with the swinging stuff. The only information you have ATM is what your wife has told you. This douchebag could be cheating or trying on his wife and your wife is buying it. Also, you're married. It takes two people to make a happy relationship. If she wants to F around, but you don't, then you need to figure out what's the root of the issue and how to fix it. Chances are your wife is just looking for excitement in the relationship that she's not getting at the moment. If you love your wife, make sure you do this. Think it's the grooming, mainly because a lot of women like doing what their friends are doing with their husbands and they want to fit in, which makes it downright creepy. 100%. Following a 5-day yoga retreat with a few of her work friends, it gives independence and freedom to the relationship. She's insistent. She keeps going on and on about her work friend Fernando, talking about how mind-blowing the experience has been for him. Today she came home with a picture of Fernando's Sarah and a hint that she's down to hook up with me. It's just a speculation, but I think she already had sex with Fernando. She wants it more often and openly, and she is trying to convert you by offering you his wife. This is a huge red flag in my book. Cheating and open relationships are a deal breaker for me. This. Perhaps not 6, but definitely sexually infatuated. Yoga F retreat. Yoga is supposed to help you relax. That whole open thing works for some people. For most it doesn't, especially when the two parties are not in agreement. Just say no. So she wants to F Fernando if she hasn't already. She needs you on board for retroactive permission for pushing this in the first place. Either way, what she's doing is incredibly disrespectful. She's going to another couple about your life and trying to push you into something you don't want. Best case scenario for Op, she's enamored by the idea of swinging and is presenting this girl to him as a means to get her foot in the door of swinging. Worst case scenario, she's already had a swing on the Fernando pole and wants to do it again, so is pushing this girl on Op so she can have her fun and feel no guilt. Absolutely this. My girlfriend talked me into an open relationship many years ago. It wasn't until 2 years later that I found out she'd already been F someone on the side for half a year and just wanted to come out of the closet. I'm sorry. In my experience, open relationships rarely work out long term. I dated a guy who wore his poly lifestyle like a badge. I was very clear I was not down, and so we were monogamous. But the more friends of his I met, the more I realized that someone in those scenarios always got hurt because of it, and they were always throwing around how they communicate more than monogamous couples, which was bullshit. That monogamy is unnatural, also bullshit. I guess it makes you wonder why work on a relationship with one person when you are involved in so many other various relationships. I mean, whatever floats your boat. But it's super annoying when people act like if you aren't into that lifestyle you are not as enlightened as they are. F that. If I want to date or F more than one person, I just consider that being single. Of 3 things. She wants to sleep with someone and is pushing for this to take advantage of the situation. She has already been sleeping with someone and wants to take advantage of the situation to cover it up. Or she's genuinely interested in spicing things up in the bedroom. Personally, I think it's one of the first 2, and if so you should really try to find out by talking to her. If it's the third you won't know until you talk to her much more deeply. No matter what, you need to have a careful thought out conversation over dinner or something in an environment you both feel relaxed and comfortable with. Discuss why she wants to and find out if there's anything you can do to please her yourself. Maybe you can watch porn together or see a therapist together. Things like that where you're both exploring your intimacy with one another. No matter what though, talking is key here. But if she is cheating on you, dump her and don't look back. Sounds like she wants to F Fernando. My dude. Would almost certainly be a very bad idea. I would talk to her more about what she thinks would come of this and try to get to the root of it. Make it clear that you're not interested if you're not, and be honest about how the conversation makes you feel. She's going to do what she's going to do, but hopefully some honest communication will help. I would try to get her TF away from Fernando though. I bet the whole thing would go away if he did. Eater. 5 years is a commonplace for a marriage to have a hiccup. You can get through this, but you need to confront her as soon as possible and be clear about how you feel.